This video is going to be talking about treating YouTube as a business instead of just simply a hobby or something that you just enjoy doing. Now, don't get me wrong. It's good that you do enjoy doing it because you don't want to constantly keep doing something that you're not interested in doing, correct? But you don't want to treat it so much like a hobby if you're trying to make this into either a full-time income or just additional income. Now, my recommendation would probably be to do it as a additional income to whatever you got going on versus your sole source of income, because this is not an overnight success type of thing. This is something that you have to work on doing. One is because you got to find out what works for you. What works for others does not necessarily mean it will work for you. Correct? Not necessarily talking about the topics that you're talking about. No, not even that. It's what you bring to the platform. Your personality. What time you can offer towards doing this. Like, some people have full-time jobs, so they can't record videos around the clock, right? And push out a whole bunch of videos. So therefore, their time's going to be limited. And on top of that, that means that unless they just got a super hot video, it's going to take a minute to gain traction for that video to kind of attach itself. Now, on my channel, as far as YouTube content, I do like to give tips and what I've learned, what I saw, and what I've researched. And I've been doing some research on this platform. And don't get it twisted. Just because you don't see a lot of views or a lot of subscriptions now, don't necessarily mean that you're not going to get some valuable information from what I'm telling you. Because trust me, you will. Okay? So, back to treating it like a business instead of just the plain old hobby. And to all my content creators, why not go ahead and drop a comment so we can start a discussion about this topic right here, about treating it like a business versus treating it like a side hustle, right? You don't want to invest a lot of time into something that you feel you're not going to maintain. The reason I'm saying this is because however you start this is hopefully how you're going to finish it, right? Sometimes it do work in reverse. Sometimes you can start hard on it and then it falls off, or sometimes you can start slow and then gain traction, right? But what I'm talking about more so is your dedication to whatever you're doing. Whether you do it slowly, fast, or whatnot, you have to figure out what type of commitment that you could do to this. Like I said, some people have full-time jobs. Some people have part-time jobs. Some people have small children that they also have to maintain to. Other words, people have a life, right? We all have a life. So we got to figure out how we're going to squeeze that in. One thing I will say about the YouTube platform, because everybody is so different and everybody's lifestyle varies from one way to another, while you're researching other people, you gotta also have to learn and study yourself, your behaviors, right? In my research that I have found is that some people like to say it's quality over quantity, and some people will say it's quantity over quality. Some will tell you have to edit your videos. Others will say you don't. Some will say it'll have to be the titles. Some will say it'll be the titles and the thumbnails. Well, I have did both. And what I will tell you is the ones that didn't have thumbnails, they did great. They gained a lot of traction from the viewers. But what I really think it boils down to is how much you get into this platform, how much information that you drive to the platform. The more you drive, the more coverage you will get, right? So you have to find out what your averages are. I suggest you go back and look at your platform and see how long you've been on here, how many videos you have done, divide that by 12 to see how many you pushing out an average a year. Now, you want to start from the time you actually started recording videos and not the time that you actually jumped onto YouTube. You want to go back far as your very first video. That's when you want to start looking at how often you put a video out a year. Then you want to take whatever that number is, and you want to divide it by 12 so you could see how many videos you were putting out a month. Then you want to take that number and divide it by 7 and see how many videos that you were putting out in a week, right? Then you want to, you divide it by 4, you'll find out how many that you put out in a week. Then you want to divide it by 7 to see how many videos you actually put out in a day, right? And all this is going to be very important information for you as well. Now, what I've done is I followed a few people to see what their averages are, right? And even people with a huge platform, what I've noticed in the past is a lot of people either put 1 or 2 videos out a week. That's why it takes so long for their videos to go viral if it's not extremely tech worthy or talking about a very hot topic that everybody wants to hear. Because you think about it, if you're treating this like a hobby and you only putting a video out every so often, then whatever video you're putting out, it better be a goddamn good behind video in order to gain the traction that you want. A lot of people also that are doing this, they come from other platforms. So they have other followers or people that's watching their stuff. And all they're doing is basically advertising on that platform and say, hey, come join me over on YouTube. And so a lot of people that start within a couple of months, they have huge platforms, just push audience from one platform to the next, push audience from one channel to the next. So if you don't have that type of following or type of platform somewhere to push into YouTube, then you're not going to get the results that other people get. And then they'll tell you to do this or to do that, but it's not going to work out for you that way because you don't have the following. You don't have the numbers. So many times I keep hearing people say that it's not about the subscriptions. It's probably ain't about the subscriptions if you are advertising something on your platform. But what I've noticed with this, they have dropped qualifications down to where you can kind of get into somewhat of advertisement with 300 subscribers. But if you don't have that first 1,000 subscribers, you can't post stuff on your YouTube for advertising for you or nobody else. So therefore you can't make income from YouTube because they won't allow you to, far as doing it the correct way. And you don't want to do things the wrong way with YouTube, because if you do, then you risk yourself being deactivated, get a strike for you for a community or a violation or something. So you want to do it the right way. But people are really relying on ignorance on fire, and people not taking the time to treat YouTube as a business and do the research that is necessary for them to be successful. That's why it's very good to find somebody such as myself and others that are really dedicated to growing their platform. They're not big yet, but they're dedicated to grow that platform, and you grow with them. You go along, you use the tips that they're doing. And not only are you just listening, but you are implementing those tips that they are giving you, as well as you're getting to know each other. Engagement in the community is imperative in order to make this work, because whether or not you had an engagement from a large following or you trying to do the engagement within YouTube, you're going to need it, because without the people, you're not going to get the views. And without the views, you're not going to get the subscriptions. You're just not, because the average person just ain't clicking on your channel and hitting subscribe, right? And by the way, open up your mouth. Tell people to subscribe to your videos like I'm about to do right now. Subscribe to the video, y'all. Help your fellow content creator out. So that way we can push this stuff through the algorithm and get it to the right people to get it going. As well as put it out there. Whatever time that you can dedicate into your business of YouTube, take that time and put it out there on the platform in order for it to gain traction. Some of you only post once a week, probably spend about 10 to 20 minutes on a video. Think about this. If you were running a business and all you spent was 10 or 20 minutes on that business, you're not going to have a business. You're just not. You're not. The reason why? Because you're not researching it. You're not studying it. You're not doing the necessary things in order to make that business work. And then you think of unrealistic results. You can't set yourself up for mental failure, because if you're thinking one video or two videos is going to somehow make you the guru of YouTube, or make you want everybody want your information or want to watch your information, you're fooling yourself. If you just take the time and look on successful YouTube platforms, they all started off small. And if you look at even the ones that the videos has been for a while, if you divide that by the little formula that I just gave you, by the time that video was on the platform, right? Divide it by the however many years or however many months, and then trickle it all the way down to the days, you will get a more realistic view of what it took for them to get that, right? When a person on YouTube is hot and popping, they may get a lot of traction on videos for a short period of time. But if they're not constantly keeping up whatever they did in order to make that happen, you're going to notice those views going to start trickling down. Now, they might keep the subscriptions if the people don't go back and unsubscribe. But subscriptions does not equal views. Views is what equals money. And you got to get the views. So congratulate yourself if you have 2 people that's watching your video, 10 people that's watching your video, 15 people that's watching your video, 20 people that's watching your video. Now watch this. If you put one video out there, congratulate yourself because you got in contact with 15 to 20 people, or 2 people, or 3 people. But if you put 3 or 4 videos on there, right, that 20 can turn into 60, right? That 50 can turn into 150, and so forth. And then you'll gain traction. The more you put out there, the more that you will get back in return. And every one of your videos are not going to show the same thing. And then when you do hit that one, it might then propel you to move forward and keep going and gain momentum from that. So you'll have to get serious about your business and put out what you're hoping to get back, right? And then even if it doesn't, because don't want to sell anyone any false hope, even if it doesn't look like it's going to, continue like it is. You have to make up in your mind that you're going to be successful, even if the numbers ain't showing you success right now, because eventually it will. All right, y'all, drop a comment, hit like, share, and subscribe. Let's get into these comment sections so we can have a little communication with each other, because I always communicate back. I don't leave no comment unresponded to. All right. So as always, be your brothers and your sisters keepers. Always keep God first. Right. And my little tip at the end will be, treat your YouTube channel like a business. Okay. And toodles.